Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It is March 13th, 2024, and the Champions League round of 16 is officially over, and we will soon know who will be Barcelona's next opponent. Also, Puma have increased their offer to become Barcelona's next sponsor, and finally, the club have ruled out the signing of Mason Greenwood. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mo, and this is the Barca News live podcast scheduled for every Mondays and Wednesdays, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Today, I am starting a little bit late. I do apologize for that. I just finished work. I had an insane day at work, but nonetheless, the important thing is that we're all here to discuss Barcelona news and to have a discussion in the chat section, because I will read your comments out loud, answer any questions, and of course, discuss everything related to FC Barcelona. And I haven't said that, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment. All of this helps this channel continue to grow. Now, let's begin with the news, because I don't know about you guys, but I am still happy about yesterday's match. I still haven't, gotten over it, where Barcelona, of course, defeated Napoli 3-1. Or 4-2 on aggregate, qualifying to the quarterfinals of the Champions League for the first time, I think, in 4 years, if I'm not mistaken. Can't remember the last time we were in the quarterfinals, but a pretty solid performance by the team. It was an entertaining match to watch. All three goals were great goals. And of course, Barcelona giving us back that happiness that we haven't experienced in quite some time. So very, very happy with the result. I did do a post-match live analysis. If you do want to hear my review of the match, make sure to check it out. Someone commented on the news video saying, why aren't you talking about Pau Cubarsí? He did amazing. I literally just did a post-match live analysis that was 47 minutes long, where I talked plenty about Cubarsí and all the other players. By the way, it's not the first time that has happened. It was another post-match live analysis I did, and then someone commented on the news video, why aren't you talking about this guy? I'm like, I literally just finished talking about it. But anyways, if you want to hear my thoughts about the match, make sure to check out the post-match live analysis. Now, yesterday, I'm not sure if I mentioned this during the post-match live analysis, but Pau Cubarsí, speaking of the devil, or speaking of this amazing center back, he did win the man of the match in yesterday's match. A pretty amazing accomplishment for someone who, again, is only 17 years old. Someone who's not even supposed to be playing with the first team given his age, but yet he is. There he is on the biggest stage in a knockout match in the Champions League, first division, winning man of the match, which is no small feat because he had to face no other than one of the best attackers, which is Osimhen. And at 17 years old, he completely pocketed and bullied Osimhen and made Osimhen look like a total noob. Now, given his impressive performance, it's reported that many major clubs in Europe are already eyeing Pau Cubarsí, including Arsenal. If I'm not mistaken, I also read Manchester United, even Chelsea, Manchester City. So Pau Cubarsí generated a lot of interest. Of course, Barcelona have planned to renew his contract this summer. They've already started negotiating with his agent. They want to, give him that €1 billion release clause that, like they do with all their youngsters, because right now Pau Cubarsí's release clause is incredibly low. I think it's something around €7 million. So anybody could snatch him up. So Barcelona definitely looking to renew the player's contract, give him a higher release clause, and of course Pau Cubarsí has told Barcelona that his only intention is to remain in the club. Now, not only is Pau Cubarsí getting European club's attention, it's reported that he is about to get his first call-up to the Spanish national team, to the senior team nonetheless, not any of the youth teams, because that's how great our center back is. Undoubtedly a generational talent, someone who will for sure become one of the best, if not the best center backs in Europe. And it's pretty amazing that he plays for us. Now, a lot of people have been comparing him to Maldini. I think he's more of a Piqué Puyol hybrid. I think he has the finesse and the passing skills / this ball distribution of Piqué, but with the physicality of Puyol, which is pretty amazing because, to have another Piqué or another Puyol is pretty amazing, but to have both of them reincarnated in Pau Cubarsí, I think that's pretty amazing. Now, the other man of the match from yesterday, the crowd. 50,000 people in the stadium, the highest number since El Clásico match at Montjuic. We all know the attendance has been very low at Montjuic, but yesterday the crowd showed up. The stadium was completely sold out, not a single empty seat, and for the entire 90 minutes, the crowd did not stop cheering, singing, supporting. So amazing job to all the fans who showed up. Remember, this was a Tuesday night, 9 p.m. By the time they were done, it was probably 11. By the time they got home, midnight, 1 a.m., and all these people had to work today in the morning. So amazing job by the crowd that showed up, supported the team, and did not support it for a single second. So thank you for the fans who showed up that night. And I'm pretty sure they had a big influence on the team's performance, because who wouldn't want to play their best when you have 50,000 people chanting and supporting you the entire time? Now we have to talk about who will be our next opponent, because the round of 16 matches are officially over. The last match just ended a few minutes ago, which was Inter Milan and Atletico de Madrid. And Atletico Madrid has eliminated Inter Milan through penalty kicks. And these are the top 8 teams in Europe. Of course, Barcelona, PSG, Arsenal, Manchester City, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Atletico de Madrid, and Dortmund. So that's 3 Spanish teams, 2 English teams, 2 German teams, and 1 French team. And the draw will take place on Friday. So in 2 days, Friday, March the 15th, when we will find out who will be Barcelona's next opponent in the quarterfinals. Now, I am curious to hear, who do you guys want to see? So drop a comment down below or in the chat section, letting me know who out of these 7, because obviously 8 it will be with us. We can't play us. That would be cool, though, because we would play each other on half of Barcelona, play the other half of Barcelona. The other half would lose on purpose, so we would qualify. That'd be pretty amazing, but it's not happening. So who out of these 7 would you want to see in the next quarterfinals? Of course, Bayern Munich are going through a lot of problems right now. So are no, actually, it's mostly Bayern who are struggling out of those. Of course, PSG, they're still in the, you could say, construction phase. So maybe they could be a good opponent. Dortmund is obviously the weakest out of these 8. Not to say that they would be a super easy team to defeat. And then there is Arsenal, who did struggle against Porto. Then there's Manchester City, who are, I think, unbeatable at this point. Real Madrid, who are not really playing any fantastic football, but they always seem to win, especially in the Champions League. And then Atletico de Madrid, who are very difficult to beat at the Wanda, but I think it is a possibility to beat them at home. But pretty solid options. My option would be Dortmund. I think it's the safest bet out of all. Again, not to say that Dortmund would not be incapable of beating us. They could. This is the Champions League. These are the top 8 teams in Europe. Any of these teams could beat us. But I do want to hear your option. Now, Barcelona have met their goal for the season, which is to qualify to the quarterfinals. So as I said in yesterday's live stream, I honestly don't care what happens after this. If we continue winning, that's amazing. I'll be happy. I'll be ecstatic. If we lose, obviously, I'd be sad, but I wouldn't be disappointed. This is not a season where we expected, to make it to the finals or a semifinal. This was a season where we set our goal for the quarterfinals, so we have accomplished it. And it seems that the staff have already started sending out inputs, kind of talking to the locker room to say, hey, yes, our goal was the quarterfinals. Yes, we accomplished the quarterfinals, accomplished this goal of reaching the quarterfinals. However, it's not over, and let's aim for the semifinals. And I say, why not? Again, if we don't make it to the semifinals, I'm not going to be disappointed because we have met our goal. But if we do, it'd be pretty amazing. But of course, it will heavily depend on who will get in the draw. And the cool thing about this, about being amongst the top 8 European teams is that 4 out of these teams are being coached by Barcelona legends, which is a pretty amazing thing. Of course, we have Xavi Hernandez, Barcelona's coach, a former Barcelona player, and a La Masia product. Then we have Pep Guardiola, former Barcelona coach, also former Barcelona player, and also a La Masia product. Then we have Mikel Arteta, former Barcelona player and a La Masia product. And then finally, Luis Enrique, a former Barcelona coach and a former Barcelona player. And I thought that was something pretty cool. Half of the teams in the quarterfinals, in the top 8 of Europe, are managed by Barcelona legends. So not only is our academy or our club producing some pretty amazing young talent as far as players, Cubarsí, Lamine, Fermin, Gavi, etc., they're also producing coaches who can make it all the way to the quarterfinals. So that's pretty cool. And I'm pretty sure somewhere in Madrid, someone is crying about this, which is awesome. But more news, because yesterday I discussed that how important it was to make it to the quarterfinals because the budget. And well, it's been reported that Barcelona are estimating that they will make 15 million euros out of qualifying to the quarterfinals. 10.6 will come from UEFA because, that's the bonus that you get for making it to the quarterfinals. And then the other 5 million are money that Barcelona are expecting to make from the ticket sales because, of course, now with the quarterfinals, we're going to play another match that we wouldn't have played had we not qualified at home. Champions League, of course, the prices are higher, and it's not just tickets. People pay, when they go to the stadium, they buy food, they buy merchandise, etc. So Barcelona expect to make another 5 million euros from that extra match in the quarterfinals at home, plus the 10.6 that they will make from UEFA for qualifying. So 15 million euros that Barcelona will make now. And of course, given the club's financial situation, it's very much welcome. Anyways, I know that was there was a lot of things to cover, and I wanted to put them all together since they're all Champions League related. But let's start with the comment section, and then we will talk about Puma's increased offer. All right. Let's see. Emmanuel, who was waiting for a long time. He says, hello from Ghana. What's up, Emmanuel? And shout out to everybody who's in Ghana. I have a lot of people who watch the channel in Ghana. It's pretty amazing. And then Peace, who says, greetings from Canada. What's up, my northern neighbor? I have yet to make it to Canada, believe it or not, and I'm only a few hours from the border. But I'm planning to go to Toronto in May. So hopefully I'll get to visit Canada pretty soon. And Trickshot says, hey there, Mo, as much as it pains me to say, I think we're better off getting Dortmund for the quarters. I think we'll match up best with them. I think so, too. I think Dortmund would be a good option. I don't know. It doesn't pain me to say it. Doesn't matter what, I just want the easiest option, because if we can get the easiest option and make it to the semifinals, why not? It's more money for the club. It's, another bonus to make it to the semifinal. And when you make it to the semifinal, you're gaining another home match. So we can make another 15, 20 million for making it to the semis. I say, please bring it on. Like I said, Barcelona projected they're going to have 11 million euro in profits. And if they do, it will be the first time we get profits without the activation of economic levers. And if we can make it to the semifinals, that profit is only going to get bigger, which is going to be even better for the club financially and better for the financial fair play. So if we can get the easiest option, beat them and make it to the semifinal, hey, why not? And Maddox says, Mo, would you agree against Napoli we played less tiki-taka and that suits us better? It suited us better, but not because tiki-taka is not the right answer. It suited us better because we cannot execute tiki-taka right now under our current coach. For some reason, Xavi just cannot seem to know how to implement his idea of tiki-taka onto the team, which is crazy because Xavi's our greatest midfielder, probably one of the greatest midfielders ever. Not probably, is one of the greatest midfielders ever. And he is the one who played tiki-taka the best. And when he talks about it, when he talks in press conferences, you can hear that he knows what he's talking about. Obviously, he knows what he's talking about. He's a genius as a football player. So he obviously knows it. But for some reason, there's a disconnect between what goes on in his mind as far as his vision of what the team should do and versus what the players do. So I think that's where Xabi is lacking as a coach. He doesn't know how to teach. He obviously knows the football. Like, there's no doubt in my mind. And there shouldn't be. And I remember some people who were, when they were mad at Xabi because the team wasn't performing, they were like calling him an idiot and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, Xabi's not an idiot by far from that. He's a footballing genius. We all saw how he played. Again, greatest midfielder in our history, one of the greatest ever. The problem is he doesn't know how to teach all that knowledge that's in his head, which I know it's in his head. He just doesn't know how to teach it. So it's not that it better suited us because tiki-taka is not the answer. It better suited us because we don't know how to do tiki-taka under Xabi. But anyways, let's get back to the news real quick. We'll do more comments, I promise. I just want to get through the news. But let's talk about Puma and their increased offer. By now, you're pretty familiar with the drama. Barcelona were trying to get Nike to increase their offer because it's a pretty terrible contract that Bartomeu had signed back in 2018 when he renewed the partnership. We all thought Nike were paying, I think it was 115 million. Turns out not even close. They were actually paying around 30, 35 million, which is way below market value. So Barcelona were trying to get Nike to up their offer. Nike said no on multiple occasions. And that's when Puma kind of swooped in, made Barcelona a big offer so Barcelona can switch up. Sponsorships, Barcelona insisted on Nike. They still wanted, hey, let's sit down. Maybe we can make this work. More negotiations, more talks, more of Nike saying no. So finally, Barcelona was like, okay, we're done. We gave you plenty of chances. We're going to break the contract. We want to be done the contract by November, which is the anniversary. That's only like in a few months. And that's when Nike were like, oh, crap. Let's up their offer. So Nike increased their offer, and now it's been revealed how much they've increased it by. It seems that Nike were offering Barcelona 80 million euros, between 80 to 85 million euros fixed, plus 20 million euros in variables. And as a result of Nike increasing their offer, then John Laporta was like, okay, hold on, maybe we shouldn't break our contract. Maybe we should consider continuing with Nike. And of course, Puma was like, no, we cannot let Barcelona slip away. So now Puma have increased their offer too. It was already much higher than Nike's. Now they've increased it even further. And now we have the details of what this new offer is. It seems that Puma are offering Barcelona around 120 million euros per season, fixed. Some reports are saying it's as high as 150 million euros fixed. So let's say between 120 and 150, a lot more than Nike's. And Puma are offering a signing bonus of 100 million euros. So the moment that Barcelona put pen to paper and signed that deal, 100 million euros, boom, in our account immediately. Which, given the club's financial situation, given our financial fair play, 100 million euros would go very, very long in solving our whole situation. Now, Barcelona currently are still debating again. They had made up their mind. We're done with Nike. They were, thinking about doing 1 year with their own kits and then sign with Puma. But now that Nike upped their offer, then Puma upped their offer again. Barcelona are back to thinking about what they should do. They don't want to make a decision yet because they want to see if Nike counter offers, given this news that Puma have increased their offer. Maybe Nike comes back and says, hold on, let me offer you more. So for now, Barcelona are not making a final decision because they're waiting to see if Nike ups their offer again. But Barcelona do want to reach a decision pretty soon. Now, I think what Laporta is doing here is pretty genius because he's just sitting back and he is just letting Nike and Puma fight it out. Because I honestly think that the whole Barcelona manufacturing their own kits, I honestly think that was just a bluff. That was just Barcelona saying to Nike and Puma, look, you guys up their offer or I'm making my own kits, right? Because if it's just Puma versus Nike, Puma can just say, okay, I don't have to do anything. I already made a higher offer than Nike. I'm just going to sit back and watch. But now by putting the pressure of like, wait a minute, it's not just Nike versus Puma. Now we have a third option. That forced Puma to increase their offer. That forced Nike to increase their offer. And I'm pretty sure whoever is leaking all these details is the club itself. Because by leaking the details of Nike's offer, that put pressure on Puma to increase their offer, which they did. And now by leaking the details of the Puma offer, now Nike has pressure on them to increase theirs. We'll see if they do or not. But for now, these are the two options. Nike, 85 million euros fixed, plus 20 million euros in variables. Puma, 120 to 150 fixed per season, plus 100 million euro signing bonus. Pretty amazing numbers. And bravo Laporta and board of directors, because whoever we sign with, whether we stay with Nike and accept this offer or the higher one, if one ever arrives, or if we go with Puma, Barcelona are set to make a lot of money in the next few seasons, which is exactly what we need. But anyways, let's get back to the chat section, and then we will talk about Mason Greenwood. All right. John W. says, is Xavi staying? No. He still wants to leave. I think if Barcelona perhaps make it far in the Champions League, I can see maybe the club asking him to stay. I know there was some news, I think it was last week or the week before, where they were saying that Laporta had supposedly asked Xavi to stay. That was proven to be false news, fake news. But I think if Barcelona do make it further in the Champions League, there is a chance that the club asks Xavi. At the moment, they haven't asked him. At the moment, Xavi has not changed his mind. But even if the club do ask him, I think Xavi's going to want to leave regardless, because I think he's done. You can see it on his face. You can see it every time he gets in front of the cameras and the press conferences. He's always like, oh, fuck, here we go again. I think he's done. I think this job has been too much for him. I think it's burned him out, and I think he cannot wait until June 30th gets here, and then he leaves. Mike says, Mo, Sergio Roberto deserves more praise. He was always a good player for us, very underrated, and didn't deserve so much criticism from fans. I agree. I've always defended Sergio Roberto on the channel. I think the problem is he's an easy targeted pick, right? Because he's never really achieved big star status. He's not really like this big shining player. So it's easy to pick on him. It's always easier to pick on like the smaller players. I don't think he's an exceptional player, but he's not as bad as people make it out to be. Like, people make out Sergio Roberto to be like a total bum. And they forget that Sergio Roberto came up through La Masia and spent his whole career at Barcelona. And if he was a bum, he would have been gone a long, long time ago. You don't get to be a bum and be in Barcelona for so many years. We're talking about like he's been in Barcelona for like 20 years or something. Maybe you're a bum and you could stay for a few seasons because maybe you signed the contract, and when you first signed the contract, it seemed like you were going to do good, but you didn't end up doing good, and you stay a few seasons, but then eventually your contract is going to expire and you're going to leave. No one stays at a club as big as Barcelona for 20 years while being a bum, unless they sign a 20-year contract, which of course doesn't happen. All right, let's see. David says, Frankie, Pedri, and Ferran are coming back, not afraid to face anyone in the semis. Yeah, I'm doing the math, sorry. Yes, I think Frankie and Pedri would be back. I know Frankie for sure. Pedri, initially they were saying no, but now that his injury is not as serious as they thought, they back. And of course, Ferran will be back way before that. So yeah, I think you are right. I think all three players will be back by then. So we definitely, as long as we can keep our rest of our players healthy, I think we should be good. Trickshot says, I really hope when Kouarsi gets his call up, he doesn't get overused like Pedri and Gavi, and we have yet another chronic injury. I agree 100%. I hope that doesn't happen. I hope the Spanish team are not dumb enough to do the same thing to Kouarsi or even to Lamine, what they did to Pedri. Because remember, Pedri's first season at Barcelona, he played every single match. And then Spain called him up, took him to the Euros. And then they said, that's not enough. Let's also have him play the Olympics. 2 tournaments in the summer, plus all the tournaments during the season, La Liga, the Copa, Champions. And look at him. Gets injured every other week because what they did to him during that first season. I hope the Spanish national team are not that dumb to try to do the same thing to Kouarsi and Lamine, because remember, this summer we have the Euros and we also have Olympics. And I hope that Barcelona put their foot down in case the Spanish team does decide to do that. And hopefully Barcelona say, no, absolutely not. You're not taking our players to both competitions. Panic says, Mo, I'm Catalan and I follow you for news. Amazing channel. Awesome. That's amazing. I did not know I had any Catalan fans, but that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Maybe you can help me if I ever mispronounce any names or words in Catalan. All right. Anyways, let's talk about the last bit of news, and then I see there's a lot of comments, and then we'll do a lot more comments at the end. I just want to get through the news, and then we can discuss more comments. But let's talk about Mason Greenwood, because for those of you who watched the video, the news video yesterday, I talked about a meeting that Deco had with representatives from Manchester United. There were a lot of rumors about what possibly could have happened in that meeting. You know, was Deco discussing the signing of Mason Greenwood? Was Manchester United maybe discussing with Deco the possibility of signing Frankie, since they've been interested in him for a very long time? Barcelona came out and said, no, none of that. This was just a routine meeting where Deco met with representatives of Manchester United just to discuss the market. That Deco does that with a lot of clubs. He just meets with clubs. They discuss the market. They discuss players, just to kind of like stay on top of things. But today's been revealed that actually the name of Mason Greenwood did come up. Of course it did. I don't think Deco was sitting in there with the representatives from Manchester United saying, hey, so what's weather like in Manchester? I'm pretty sure they discussed Mason Greenwood, and while today it's been confirmed that the name Greenwood did come up, Deco inquired, because as you know, Barcelona have been considering signing Greenwood. You know, Greenwood is 22. He still has, more room to grow and get better. Right now, his market value is at the lowest point because of his whole criminal case that he had. So Barcelona were considering that this would be a good time to sign a winger who should be expensive, but is not, and could be a good deal because you would be signing him at a point where his price is pretty low or undervalued because of what happened in his case, and perhaps replacing one of our wingers that are expensive, like Ferran or Rafinha, that cost us, between the two, 120 million. But during a meeting, while discussing Mason Greenwood, Manchester United confirmed another bit of news that I reported before, which is that they're looking to make around 40 million euros for him. So after that, Barcelona have decided to rule that out because they were considering Greenwood, but only as a low-cost option. And 40 million is not low cost. And given Barcelona's tight financial situation, given the financial fair play, Barcelona rather spend those 40 million on other priorities. For example, the pivot, which is the number one priority for the club, signing a new coach. So Barcelona are ruling out Greenwood because, again, they're not willing to pay the 40 million. And I totally agree. I wouldn't pay 40 million for Greenwood. So that's that. But let's get back to the comments, and then we will end the live stream. Let's see. Where did we leave off? Mark says, if Athletic win the Champions League, does that get us into the Club World Cup? What? No. Athletic needed... So right now we're out of the World Cup because Atletico de Madrid made it to the quarterfinals. We needed them to be eliminated in the round of 16 for us to even have a shot. If they win, it's over completely. Right now, we still have a chance, but our chance to qualify to the Club World Cup is for Atletico to lose both of their quarterfinal matches and for Barcelona to make it all the way to the semifinal and to win the first semifinal leg. So we have our work cut out. If Atletico win, it's over. We're not making it to the Club World Cup. Okay, let's see. Skinny Koala says, do we have to go to semi for Club World Cup? Now Atleti has won. Yes, we have to go to semi and we have to win one of those semi legs. So our odds got much smaller when Atletico de Madrid won today. And we also blew it because we lost the first leg against Napoli. Had we won that, I'm sorry, not lost. We drew against Napoli. Had we won that first leg against Napoli, that would have been an extra point for Barcelona. So that's another thing. We needed to win both legs of the round of 16, and we drew one. Let's see. Oof, Trickshot says it pains me only because I'm a Dortmund fan. That's rough, my friend. That is rough. But let's see. Carrie says there are two containers to draw from. The first are the teams that played last week, and the second are the teams of this week. That means we can't play Arsenal, Athletic, or Dortmund. Thank you for clarifying. I wasn't too sure about the containers, how they're gonna split it. I know they changed it this season. I didn't really bother to do more digging because I was like, whatever. Whoever we get, we get. But okay, that's interesting. So does that mean our options are Manchester City? Let's go back to this. So our options are. Oh, what am I doing? I have no idea. There you go. Okay. So our options would be Real Madrid, Bayern, PSG, or Man City. I think those are the four teams that played the first week, if I'm not mistaken. Which I guess out of those four, out of Bayern, Madrid, PSG, and City, I would prefer PSG or Bayern. Again, not because Real Madrid are not playing any kind of impressive football. Their football is awful, but they're effective. They still seem to be able to win. And given that they've beat us several times this season, I would prefer to avoid them. But it would be cool to have an El Clasico match in the Champions League. Don't get me wrong. Bayern, given their turmoil, it would be a good time to face them. But I'm afraid that they're still too strong for us, even going through the turmoil that they're going, because they still have excellent players. And then there's PSG, because PSG is a hot mess all the time. So maybe PSG would be a good option. I don't know. You guys let me know. All right, let's see. Let's get back to this and that. And my friend Ross, who says we need to sell Rafinha immediately. Also, rumors of Xavi Simons possible Barca future. True? No, because Xavi Simons is owned by PSG, and he's currently exploding at PSV. Ooh, PSV. I don't think they would be willing to sell him. PSG just hate us. And as far as Rafinha, I agree. By the way, a lot of people got mad at me yesterday, leaving comments saying, why didn't you say that Rafinha played a good match? Why are you saying he played bad? I didn't say anything, by the way. If you go back and watch the live stream, I didn't even review Rafinha's performance in yesterday's match. When we got to the front line, I said, I'm not going to talk about every player because I don't want to make the live stream too long. So I only talked about Lamine. I did not talk about Rafinha, nor did I talk about Lewandowski. The only time I mentioned Rafinha is when someone commented saying Rafinha has a bad decision making on the ball, and I said I agreed. But somehow people got mad that I rated Rafinha badly, even though I didn't rate Rafinha at all. Which happens a lot when people misinterpret what I say and they get mad at me for it. But yesterday was the first time where people misinterpreted something I did not say at all and got mad at me for it. That was a new record for the channel. Well, anyways. King City FC says Barca have a lot of worldwide fans. They need to find a way to ship worldwide. 100% agree. I think Puma have already offered Barcelona worldwide shopping, e-commerce. Nike don't. So whoever becomes Barcelona's next sponsor, they need to offer that. So if Barcelona go to Puma, obviously Puma already offered that. But if Barcelona re-sign with Nike, Nike need to offer worldwide e-commerce. It's total bullcrap that Nike only offers e-commerce for Barca in Europe when Barcelona's trademark is everywhere. Like, there hasn't been a single country I haven't been to where I haven't seen people wearing Barcelona jerseys on the street. Let's see. Skinny Koala says, but the Nike lawsuit would cost more than the signing bonus. Well, we don't know that, right? Nike said they want to sue for $350 million. It doesn't mean that that's what they're going to get. I mean, I can sue someone tomorrow for $100 million. Doesn't mean I'm going to get that. It just depends on how the judge rules. Now, it's reported that Barcelona would countersue for breach of contract. So now it will be a fight over damages. I don't think Nike would get $350 million, to be honest. If you had to ask me as an attorney, that's my opinion. But obviously there is a risk because there is a fee that Barcelona would have to pay. They could even negotiate that fee, to be honest. They could just, because a litigation this big between such two giants would take years and years, and it would cost both parties a lot of money in attorney fees and experts, etc. So I think Barcelona could end up reaching an agreement with Nike and saying, look, do you really want to drag this through litigation? Let's just reach an agreement. How much do you want? And they can negotiate it. But Kill Bill Matt says, I don't count on Pedri anymore. He's always missing when the team needs him. People disagree, but Fermin can reach as high as Pedri. I don't think so. I don't think Fermin could reach as high as Pedri. Pedri's special. It's unfortunate that his injuries are not allowing him to have continuity. But no, Pedri's on another level. Not to say anything bad about Fermin. No, again, I've said it before. People love to twist my words. Tomorrow, people are going to be commenting like, oh my God, Mo said Fermin sucks and we should offload him and he's the worst player ever. No. Fermin is great, but I think Pedri's better. Okay, Balamusa says, reported by Sport that the Spanish national team does not rule out bringing in Pau Cubarsí for both the Euros and the Olympic in the summer. And Mo, this does scare me because does that not remind me? Your comment cut off, but I'm guessing you want to say Pedri. Yes, it does scare me. So I'm really hoping that Barcelona could put their foot down and say, absolutely not, you cannot take him. And if you are going to take him, you're only going to take him for one or the other. So we'll see. Noé says, Vitor Roque. We all agree he needs more playtime. However, I wonder if Xabi is holding back to bringing him in as an explosive striker when the opposition least expects it. Maybe. I don't know. But he does need more minutes. I do know that. Essay says, Mbappe will always face Araujo no matter where he comes from. True. You know what? If you asked me like 3 months ago if Barcelona should face PSG, I would have been like, man, I'm worried that Mbappe could do a lot of damage. But after I saw how Cubarsí pocketed Osimhen and obviously having Araujo, I would not be too worried about Mbappe. Because I feel between Cubarsí and Araujo, they could probably cancel them out. Not probably, most likely, because you saw that. I mean, Kvara, Osimhen, Politano, where were they yesterday? Because I didn't see them on the field. Let's see. The Matrix says, Rafinha does everything good until he reaches the opponent box. If he can remain calm, he would be one of our best players. Best players? There's more to Rafinha than just not remaining calm. There's the fact that you can't dribble past a cone. And he's just not Barca level. Or at least not Barca player, because Rafinha is the kind of player that's good running behind the defensive line. So he's more of a counter-attack player, which is not something Barcelona does. I think Rafinha would be great for a team like Atletico de Madrid, to have him stay up, because Atletico de Madrid love to park the bus and then just shoot long balls. And I think Rafinha would be a great player for them, because then he can just run, because that's what he's best at. He's best running behind the defenders, but is not a player that's good for Barcelona, which is not a bad thing. People to get so offended by that, like I'm insulting their mothers, like Rafinha's their dad or something. It's not a bad thing to say a player is not fit for Barcelona. Ibrahimovic was one of the best attackers of our generation. He came to Barca and he didn't work out. Does that make Ibrahimovic a bad player? No, he just wasn't apt for Barca. That's fine. I don't know why people get so mad when I talk about Rafinha. Aesop says, just imagine, guys, a prime version of Ansu, Roque, and Yamal. That would be amazing to watch. And then finally, Noé says, Real Madrid and PSG should face off. It'd be interesting to see how Mbappe will play. Will he go for the glory with PSG or sell out to Real Madrid. I think he will do his job. I mean, if anything we've seen from Mbappe, he's always been professional as far as on the field, because Mbappe has been wanting to leave PSG for a while. I mean, since the summer and even before that, and he always, does his job. So I don't think he would sell out or anything. I think he's still a professional. But as far as glory, I do have to say that I'm no longer worried as much about Mbappe as I used to be, because I have noticed that he's more after his own glory now. A player that I would be more worried about is Bellingham, because Bellingham is young, he's hungry, he wants to prove himself. That's the player I would be worried about. Mbappe, you can tell Mbappe is more chasing individual glory. He just wants his Ballon d'Or, he wants his individual trophies, and a player like that who just cares about the money and individual glory does not worry me as much as someone like Bellingham, who's just hungry to prove himself. So, anyways, that is it for today, guys. Thank you for tuning in, for your likes, for your comments, for your subscriptions. You guys are absolutely amazing. I was about to take my glasses off and then realized I don't have my glasses on. But there's not going to be a video news today. Not a lot of news today, besides what I share with you, because, Barcelona is still celebrating. They're happy, Champions League, etc. But I will see you tomorrow. And as always, Visca Barça.